What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're back with the top 5 ways you can become a better Smite player and up your game. So let's get into it. First up at number 5, find someone that's better than you and play with them frequently. I put this one at number 5 because it isn't really possible for some people, like not everyone has a friend or someone they know through Smite that they can play with frequently, but if you do have someone like that, it's really good to have someone. Like just grab a friend, someone you played, like met through Smite or whatever that you thought was playing quite well, add them, and then play with them. Even better if you've got voice comms, and just watch how they play, and if you can, ask them to watch how you play and tell you where you go wrong and things. This is even better if you have voice comms because they can just quickly point out where you've gone wrong and they don't have to like text chat all out and things like that. And they can look at what you do right and what you do wrong, so you can fix what you did wrong and keep doing what you did right, and that'll eventually improve you as a player. Next up at number 4, we've got team communication. In a team game, communication and teamwork is absolutely key. Whether it's through VGS, text chat or voice chat, you need to communicate with your team. If you don't have a mic or you don't want to voice chat for whatever reason, then make sure you learn VGS, especially the most important commands like enemy missing, retreat, attack, objective calls like Gold Fury and Fire Giant, things like that. If you want to get really better at Smite, it's important that you can call missing from lanes, call for ganks, call for objectives, call for retreating, things like that. So put some effort into learning the most important VGS commands and use them. It'll improve your game a lot. And it's even better if you can use voice comms for like ranked and things like that, because you can just relay so much more information so much more quickly as opposed to using VGS. Halfway through at number 3, we've got recognize what you do well and what you do badly and learn from it. This is kind of ties in with number 5, where you would have someone pointing out your mistakes, but it's more you don't need someone to point out your mistakes, you actually point them out yourself. So a great way to improve your game is learning from your mistakes. If you can record your games and watch them back using some kind of software, that's even better. But if you can't or don't want to record your games, you can still take the time, like if you're dead or whatever, to just ask yourself, why did I die there? What went wrong that caused me to die? Why did I lose that trade? Stuff like that. It might be bad mechanics, it might be inefficient item builds, the enemy might have just been better than you and there's not much you can do, but it's important to identify what went wrong and try not to do the same thing again next time, because that'll just get you killed again. The same thing goes for what you do right though. If you win a trade or get a kill, think about why you won the trade. Like, were your mechanics just on point and you hit all your abilities and dodged a bunch of the enemy's abilities, or were you an item up on someone so you went for a trade? Or do you just have a better item build overall that allowed you to trade better? If you repeat your successes and do the opposite with your failures, you'll be sure to improve. At number 2, we've got have a wide god pool. This is incredibly important in a MOBA for me, because it's especially true if you want to play ranked, but it's still important in casuals, because having a wide array of gods makes you a much bigger asset to your team, because you have more options to synergize better with your composition and more opportunities to counterpick enemy gods. For example, if you get put in solo lane in ranked and you can only play Osiris and Erlangshen, but Osiris got banned and the enemy team's already picked Erlangshen, you're fucked in that situation. You're forced into a god you don't know very well and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, you're probably going to lose lane. Whereas if you have maybe 4 or 5 gods for each role, like you can also play Bellona and Tia or something like that, then you have more options, and it's highly unlikely you won't get at least one of those gods to choose from on almost every game. But having a wide god pool isn't just about you playing them either. Having more knowledge of more gods and their abilities, builds, playstyles, that sort of stuff, will help you when you play against them and will improve your chances of winning. Like, if you're matched against an Osiris in solo lane but you don't know anything about how he works, he'll probably just out-clear you with his cleave auto attacks and you'll be left in a bad spot because you're going to be really out of position trying to clear the wave, and he'll just hit you with the one and just slow you and beat you down, force you back to base early, and that's bad for you. But if you know how quickly Osiris can clear the wave, you can back off a little bit and not get put in that situation. Having a wide god pool will vastly improve your game, but it's not something you can do immediately. It takes practice and time, but if you know what every god in the game can do to you, then you can play around that and give yourself a better chance of winning. And the most important tip, in my opinion, for improving at Smite is external resources and researching the game. This is the big one, which is why it's at number 1, I guess. You can have all the mechanical skill in the world but not get past gold since you don't know the game. External resources kind of covers a lot of, like, a wide variety of stuff, like looking up builds, watching YouTube videos or streamers, watching SPL games and tournaments, reading patch notes or watching patch notes, researching game mechanics and things like the Word of Thoth and other guides like that. Like, being knowledgeable about the game is more than just learning 5 gods and learning a set build for each one and never changing your build. Like, this tip kind of weaves into a lot of the other ones that I've mentioned in this video, because you need to know the game to improve at it. You need to have knowledge of counter building, mechanics, god kits, how the map works, how to farm effectively, objectives, minions, all this stuff that you need to know. And I always recommend The Word of Thoth, written by Flareboot. It details loads of stuff about the game, and mechanics and how it works, like protections versus penetration, the formula for calculating damage through protections, how lifesteal works, how attack speed works, all that kind of stuff. But there's other knowledge sources out there too. Like I said, further down, there's watching SPL games or streamers and watching what they do and build and how applying it to your own games. I'm not just saying like you want to play Morrigan, pick an SPL game and take the build from there. That's a bad idea, but you should be watching multiple games, seeing how they build in each game and against each god in each scenario, and then you can kind of build up your knowledge of how to build that god in a load of different scenarios. You'll be better off because you can counter build the enemy a lot better. There's also YouTube and Twitch, channels like JukeSloth, Mass, DMBrandon, and a lot of pro streamers such as EmilZy and people like that can really help you with your building and knowledge of the game. So I'll put a few links into the description to websites and YouTube channels and knowledge sources that have useful information that you can probably learn from if you want to check those out. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something from this, and hopefully you can apply it to your own games and improve from it. Obviously not all of these can apply to everyone, but you can hopefully take at least 2 or 3 of these and try and use them effectively in your matches. Be sure to subscribe if you want more of this type of content, but that's about it. Peace out, nerds.